Hi, I'm Sean Clark, coming to you from the Pacific Northwest, hence the raincoat. But want to welcome you back for the second installment of the Hibernian Society of Utah's Irish Poetry Series. I'm sure you'll enjoy the poems we're featuring in this segment, so grab yourself an Irish beverage. I've got mine. Sit back and enjoy the magnificence of our Hibernian readers and the words of our Irish poets. Enjoy.
The second poem is from the Poem Book of the Gael, edited by Eleanor Hull, an Irish litany, translated by P.J. McCall. Blessing of the seasonal saints. Saints of the four seasons, saints of the year, longing I pray to you, longing I say to you, save me from angers, drearings, and dangers. Saints of the four seasons, saints of the year. Saints of the green springtime, saints of the year, Patrick and Gringer, Bridget be near. My last breath gather with God's foster father. Saints of the green springtime, saints of the year. Saints of gold summer, saints of the year. Poesy wingeth me, fancy far bringeth me, guide ye me on to Mary's sweet son. Saints of gold summer, saints of the year. Saints of red autumn, saints of the year. Lo, I am cheery, Michael and Mary. Open wide, heaven to my soul be riven. Saints of red autumn, saints of the year. Saints of gray winter, saints of the year. Outside God's palace, fiends wail in malice. Let them not win my soul going in. Saints of gray winter, saints of the year. Saints of four seasons, saints of the year. Waking or sleeping, to my grave creeping. Life in the night, hold me, God's light. Saints of four seasons, saints of the year.
I'm going to be reading Nell Flaherty's Drake, and on the face of it, it looks like a humorous broadside about Nell cursing whoever done away with her Drake. And the reality is the Drake represents Robert Emmet, who was executed in 1803 for a failed revolt against the British. And Sarah Curran was his fiancée. And 5 years later, she passed away from consumption. The author is anonymous in this. And I'll start here with Nell Flaherty's Drake. Oh, my name it is Nell, quite candid I tell. And I lived in Clonmel, which I'll never deny. I had a large Drake, and the truth for to speak, my grandmother left me, and she going to die. He was wholesome and sound, he weighed 20 pound, and the universe round I would roll for his sake. Bad luck to the robber, be he drunk or sober, that murdered Nell Flaherty's beautiful Drake. His necked was green, he was rare to be seen. He was fit for a queen of the highest degree. His body so white, it would give you delight. He was fat, plump, and heavy, and brisk as a bee. My dear little fellow, his legs, they were yellow. He would fly like a swallow and swim like a hake. Until some wicked savage, to grease his white cabbage, he murdered Nell Flaherty's beautiful Drake. May his pig never grunt, may his cat never hunt. May a ghost always haunt him in the dead of the night. May his hen never lay, may his ass never bray. May his coat fly away like an old paper kite. May the lice and the fleas the wretch ever tease. May the pinching north breeze make him tremble and shake. May a 4-year-old bug build a nest in the lug of the monster that murdered Nell Flaherty's Drake. May his cock never crow, may his bellows never blow, and a pot or pole, may he never have one. May his cradle not rock, may his box have no lock. May his wife have no smock to shield her backbone. May his duck never quack and his goose turn quite black and pull down the turf with his long yellow beak. May scurvy and itch not depart from the breach of the monster that murdered Nell Flaherty's Drake. May his pipe never smoke, may his teapot be broke, and to add to the joke, may his kettle not boil. May he lay in the bed till the moment he's dead. May he always be fed on lobscouse and fish oil. May he swell with the gout, may his grinders fall out. May he roar, bawl, and shout with the horrid toothache. May his temples wear horns and all his toes corns. May the monster that murdered Nell Flaherty's Drake. May his spade never dig, may his sow never pig. Every knit on his head be as large as a snall. May his house have no thatch and his door have no latch. May his turkey not hatch, may the rats eat his meal. May every old fairy from Cork to Dunleary dip him in snug and easy in some pond or lake, where the eel and the trout may slime in the snout of the monster that murdered Nell Flaherty's Drake. May his dog yelp and growl with hunger and cold. May his wife always scold till his brain goes astray. May the curse of each hag that e'er carried a bag alight on his nag till his beard turns grey. May monkeys still bite him and apes affright him and everyone slight him asleep or awake. May weasels still gnaw him and jackdaws still claw him, the monster that murdered Nell Flaherty's Drake. Then all the good news I have to diffuse, 'tis for Peter Hughes and blind Peter McPhee. There's big-nosed Bob Manson and the buck-tooted Ned Hanson. Each man has a grandson of my darling Drake. My bird, he had dozens of nephews and cousins, and one I must get or my heart it'll break. To keep my mind easy or else I'll run crazy. So this ends the song of Nell Flaherty's Drake. The end.
The pale ditch that's referred to in this poem by Evan Boland, who incidentally died this last year, one of my favorite Irish poets. Anyway, the pale ditch refers to a 10-foot deep ditch fortified with thick brambles that defined an area called the Pale, in which the British held power for centuries, ever since the Norman invasion of 1169. So everything inside the Pale, and the district was called the Pale, everything out was beyond the Pale. Mother Tongue by Evan Boland. The old Pale ditch can still be seen less than half a mile from my house. Its ancient barrier of mud and brambles, which mireth next unto Irishmen, is now a mere rise of coarse grass, a rowan tree, and some thinned out spruce, where a child is playing at twilight. I stand in the shadows. I find it hard to believe now that this was once the source of our division. Dug, drained, shored up, and left to keep out and keep in, that here the essence of a colony's defense was the substance of the quarrel with its purpose, land, ground. A line drawn in the rain and clay and the roots of wild broom. Behind it, the makings of a city. Beyond it, the rumors of a nation by Dalkey and Kilternan and Ballaleigh, through two ways of saying their names. A window is suddenly yellow. A woman is calling a child. She turns from her play and runs to her name. Who came here under the cover of darkness from Glenmalure and the Wicklow Hills to the limits of this boundary? Who whispered the old names for love to this earth and anger and ownership as it opened the abyss of their future at their feet. I was born on this side of the Pale. I speak with the forked tongue of colony, but I stand in the first dark and frost of a winter night in Dublin and imagine my pure sound, my undivided speech, traveling to the edge of this silence as if to find me. And I listen and I hear what I am safe from and what I have lost.
Reading another poem by Evan Boland, who died last autumn, as Roddy has said. She was a person who had lived in Ireland and England and the United States. She was born in Ireland, did schooling in England and didn't like a lot of it, and then came to the US and liked the US and Ireland. Her poems reflect all of these places and her experiences in them. But I think the ones that talk about Irish history are really the best, the ones that are dramatic and really go to the bone, if you'll pardon the expression. The poem I'm going to read is The Dolls Museum in Dublin. It is an allegory of the effect of war on women, using dolls as the substitute for women. Women are, in military terms, very often collateral damage, which is another way of saying, we don't care what happens to you, we're going to do our thing. This is a dramatic one, and it goes back and forth between talking about the dolls and the happenings of the Rising in 1916, and it ends with the dolls. So I'll try to indicate the transitions by a little pause. There are 11 stanzas. The Dolls Museum in Dublin. The wounds are terrible. The paint is old. The cracks along the lips and the cheeks cannot be fixed. The cotton lawn is soiled. The arms are ivory dissolved to wax. Recall the quadrille, hum the waltz, promenade on the yacht club terraces. Put back the lamps in their copper holders, the carriage wheels on the cobbled quays, and recreate Easter in Dublin. Booted officers, their mistresses, sunlight crisscrossing College Green, steam hissing from the flanks of horses. Here they are, cradled and cleaned, held close in the arms of their owners, their cold hands clasped by warm hands, their faces memorized like perfect manners. The altars are mannerly with linen, the lilies are whiter than surplices, the candles are burning and warning. Rejoice, they whisper, after sacrifice. Horse chestnuts hold up their candles. The green is vivid with parasols. Sunlight is pastel and windless. The bar of the Shelburne is full. Laughter and gossip on the terraces. Rumor and alarm at the barracks. The Empire is summoning its officers. The carriages are turning. They are turning back, past children walking with governesses, looking down, cosseting their dolls, then looking up as the carriage passes, the shadow chilling them. Twilight falls. It is twilight in the Dolls Museum. Shadows remain on the parchment-colored waists. Our bruises on the stitched cotton clothes are hidden in the dimples of the wrists. The eyes are wide. They cannot address the helplessness which has lingered in the airless piece of each glass case. To have survived, to have been stronger than a moment, to be the hostages ignorance takes from time and ornament from destiny. Both, to be the present of the past, to infer the difference with a terrible stare, but not feel it and not know it. Thank you.
I am going to read a poem by Seamus Haney entitled When Hope and History Rhyme. It's been an honor to join this group. You guys are really, really amazing. And when I chose a poem, I wanted to find something that would give us some hope. And I came across this, and then I was pleased to find out that it happened to be a poem that Joe Biden used in his campaign. So great minds think alike. History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. So hope for a great sea change on the far side of revenge. Believe that a further shore is reachable from here. Believe in miracles and cures and healing wells. Call miracle self-healing, the utter self-revealing, double take of feeling. If there's fire on the mountain and lightning and storm, and a God speaks from the sky, that means someone is hearing the outcry and the birth cry of new life at its turn. It means once in a lifetime that justice can rise up and hope and history rhyme. Thank you.